Assalamu alaikum. Nasir, Dr. Nasir. How is everyone? Okay. So, in this lecture, we will talk about report writing. In the previous lecture on report writing, I did discuss different parts, different types of actually report, right? You might have seen that video. The report can be classified on different grounds, on the basis of time, on the basis of format, on the basis of origin. Okay, so there are different ways, but on the basis of format or appearance, report is of two types: long report and short report. In all sorts of businesses, we have to write these reports, though in practical life we are not required to write long report in routine, right? It is written after 6 months or so, after a year or so, okay? Because as I have said earlier too, that long report, the minimum length of long report is 10 pages, but it can be of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 500, 1000, even more than that, okay? So, practically, our main concern in practical life is that is short formal report. Inshallah, we will take that thing in the next lecture. Parts of long report are very important, especially for those students, right, who appear in MCQs based on exams. What are different parts of long report? So we discussed that thing. Long report has different parts. So our concern is this thing. So we can say, what are different parts of long report? As I've said, in routine, we are not supposed to write long report, but you must be 100% clear about the parts, because in MCQs especially, most of the questions are long report based, okay? So we say long report is basically it has three actually, what we say, parts, right? So introductory, okay, introductory parts, then body of the report, and then supplemental parts. Clear? Supplemental parts, okay. So these are three, right, basic parts of long report: introductory parts, body of the report, and supplemental parts. As you can guess very easily, introductory is something that is for the sake of introduction. Before writing that report, in the true sense, we write intro of that. But in long report, introductory parts, right, themselves are very important, because it's something, long report is one of the most formal reports. So obviously you have to be careful about this thing too. These introductory parts are sometimes called preambulatory parts. What's the reason? This word is basically from preamble. Preamble, all of you know, is intro of something, introduction of something. From preamble we say preambulatory. So sometimes they ask this sort of question: what's meant by preambulatory and introductory? Is there any difference between these two? Today the same stuff, okay? Similarly, sometimes we use the word prefatory. Prefatory is from preface. Prefatory parts, this word is from preface. Preface, all of you know, is intro of something. Are you getting? So, but the most common word is introductory. So, body of the report basically means the report itself. Body means whatever that report is, right? All that stuff is written in the body. So, body is the most important. It means the report itself. So one must be 101% clear about this thing, right? Suppose you have to write something with some long report, or suppose you have to check some long report, you must be 101% clear. And supplemental, as is clear from the name, this is something additional. Supplemental parts are additional parts. right? In addition to this, right? Sometimes for further clarification of something, we add supplement. As all of you know, supplement is something that is taken with something, right? We say in gyms you would have seen that, okay, use this, but take this supplement. Supplement is something additional. Anyway, we will take all these one by one. Okay, starting with the introductory parts. What are in routine, actually introductory parts are not that important, but in long report they are very important. So let's start with these parts. Okay, what are introductory parts? Introductory parts include a lot of stuff, okay? Because long report is very formal, so it must be presented in a very presentable manner. So different parts of this are, the first is what we call, yes, cover, right? We are just discussing introductory parts. We will discuss report later on. The second is title page. The third is what we call title fly. Because in short report, introduction is just of one paragraph or so, but over here you have to make it formal. So title fly, then list of contents. Okay, a little bit variation is possible, but generally these things are there. What else? Acknowledgement. Then executive summary. Is it clear? Executive summary. These 4-5 things are part of each and every long report. Clear? So there might be some other parts, but these are the basic ones. So let's dilate upon these parts. So for the time being, do forget body and supplement parts. So starting with the first one, cover. What's meant by cover? Cover is just nothing. It is just a way of adorning something, decorating something in a way, right? So as in most of the cases, whenever you file something, to make sort of presentation or whatever, sort of cover is there. So cover means outside covering, just to give that shape. Okay, it's not something technical, covering. So cover is there, it's understood. The next is title page. This thing is a bit important. In exam they usually ask what stuff must be there in the title page, what are different parts of a title page, things like that. So title page includes what? Suppose I say, suppose this is your page, this is your full page, okay, and title page includes what? This is your page, and in the title page we write what? We write 2-3 things. The first is we write submitted to, and then after write very appropriate gap, we write submitted by. This is the right way of writing, and then double dot or colon, and then subject, and then date. Okay, these 3-4 things are there on the title page. Clear? So you must be clear what actually these things stand for. What is meant by submitted to? As I was saying in the previous lecture too, whenever you write some report, in most of the cases, especially in formal report, you are asked to write that report. You are asked to someone, some senior of yours, someone of the upper notch, top notch, high in hierarchy, whose tier is a bit higher, he or she asked you to write that report. So on the title page, we write these 3-4 things, and after this submitted to and double dot, we do what? We write 2 things, right? The first is submitted to means the person that report is being submitted. Suppose your GM has asked you to write that report. So in submitted you will write what? Name of that person and designation of that person. So submitted to, suppose you say Mr. Anwar, okay, the first thing, and then designation of that person, GM planning. Whatever, right? It can be, right? Mr. Johnson, MD, right? Procurement, MD research, whatever. So submitted to this thing and submitted by, you can guess very easily, 2 things are there. The first is the person who has prepared that report, name and designation of that person, right? Suppose you say, right, suppose some Shazia, would you use the word Miss or Mr. with Shazia? The person who is submitting that report, we don't use the word Mr. or Miss with that. So Shazia is fine, and GM planning, she might be, suppose you say manager planning, name with designation. Clear? Subject means title. In routine we use this word subject, but it means title. Title means what that report is about. The topic of that report is called subject, right? Whatever that topic is, we write over here, right? Suppose you say report about the prevailing situation, right, of coronavirus. Okay, the report about the current sanitary condition of Lahore, whatever. So when we try to understand the format, and inshallah, if we find chance to, inshallah, I'll try to write the practical example of it. Okay, date means the date that report was due to be submitted. Suppose you had to submit, it means when you actually submitted that report. Okay, suppose someone asks you to submit some report on 10th of March. Okay, so most probably you will be prepared by then and you will submit on that date. So you just mention that, right? But date should be written like this, as I have told you earlier, March, suppose the 10th, 2020. Got some idea? So this was your title page. Okay. So though we don't keep one thing in mind, most of the students, they do what? They use the word cover. We never write this thing, cover. We never write this thing, title page. Rather we use this cover, and on the title page we write these things. No need of writing this. Are you getting? It's a very common observation that students do that sort of thing. Title fly. It is actually not something that serious, right? Title fly has different meanings, but one sense of fly is sort of flap of something, piece of something. The title fly is just nothing. It is just a page, right? A blank page. It's a blank page, and at the top of that page you write the name of that report. Title fly means it is just a blank page, and on the very top of that page you write the name of that report. Name of the report. I think you are not getting. I mean, you might have seen foreign books. Some just to adorn that, to give that thing a formal shape, they use a blank page of different colors. It might be yellow, it might be green, and the whole page is blank, and the very top of that they just write the name of that report. So it is not actually a part, it is just a way of giving that formal shape and just to create a good impression or something. List of contents, very important. Whenever you start something, so obviously first of all you want to know what the hell is there, what stuff is there. So as is the case in so many books, whatever, we write the list. How? First we write the topic. On one side we write the topic, and on the other we write the page number of that topic. List of contents. And contents actually can be in different forms. Contents can be in different forms. Suppose in long report, so many things are there. There might be so many figures, there might be so many graphs, there might be so many tables, there might be so many diagrams. Okay. In list of contents, sometimes we write list of graphs. Suppose there are more than 50 graphs in some report. We need a separate list. List of, suppose, pie charts or charts in any form. So it depends. Okay. So it's a list of diagrams. Or suppose you have included different tables in that list of tables. So it varies. List of tables. In long report, these things are there in routine. So whatever that is, right? Some of these might be there, the whole stuff might be there. Suppose just tables are there, so you will add this thing, just to clarify. And obviously, without the list of contents, the person actually who is actually studying, reading that report, will feel a bit sort of inconvenience. Clear? And the next is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means what? You would have heard the word acknowledge. I acknowledge your efforts. We acknowledge your struggle. To welcome something, to acknowledge basically means to welcome something openly, right? So we say no one can deny the thing that Nelson Mandela was, right, a great hero, and we should acknowledge his, right, incessant struggle for the blacks or whatever. It's its literal meaning, to admit something openly. And acknowledgement means that process. In case of write so many books, you would have seen that in the very start of different books, you find this word, acknowledgements. So what's that? Acknowledgement basically, over here it means to acknowledge or admit the effort of someone. Suppose I write some report, and on one page at the top I write the word acknowledgement. We do write this word. We do write this word, acknowledgements. Okay. Similarly, we do write this word, but we don't use these words. Clear? We use them practically, but we don't mention this thing. But list of contents in any form, we do. Acknowledgements, usually we use one page for that, and in this we do what? We somehow appreciate, eulogize the efforts of those people who somehow helped you in preparing that report. Suppose I'm writing some report, and some students of mine, they cooperate a lot, right? Right, in collection process, in writing, in composing. In the very start, I would mention something like this, that I'm very right, okay? I'm very thankful to such and such students of mine. My special thanks to such and such person. And my very special thanks to my wife, who helped me a lot in this regard. And actually, wives, they never let you do things, but you do acknowledge. So on one page, you just appreciate the efforts of people. Okay, they might be students, they might be colleagues, whatever. And we'll practically do it inshallah later on. An executive summary. You might have heard the word summary. All of you know. Summary stands for abridgment. Abridgment means brief actually account of something. Abridgment. Just pith. Okay. But the question is, what's meant by executive summary? Most of the students think that summary means executive summary. Executive summary means summary. It's not the case. Summary is something different. Executive summary is slightly different. Summary is basically the nutshell of a report. You just summarize the main points of that report. But executive summary means, as is clear from the word executive class, executive people, it means top class. So executive summary, the theme of it is that it is basically for the information of, it's basically for the information of the top notch. Suppose you write some report and Bill Gates has to study that report. So obviously he's such a busy fellow, he hasn't got time for going through all that. So he needs this thing. The owner of a company, right, needs executive summary. So it is also called mini version. It is said it is mini version of the report. Mini means small. It's mini version of the report. But the question is, in case of summary, we do summarize all the points. But in case of executive summary, sometimes we do write straight over, ignore different points. We just focus on the central theme. We do focus on the central theme of that report, and we mention things in a very simple fashion. Suppose Malik Riaz wants to read some report. So in executive summary is so simple that he can very easily grasp that, okay, this is the theme of the report. No technicalities, no details, no jargon, right? So the main purpose is just to communicate the central idea. So after going through this report, even a layman can come to know what that report is about. Clear? So these were actually introductory parts, and as you can see that it's the game of write 5, 6, 7 pages. In case of list of contents, there might be different things might be there, so list might be a bit okay. So clear? Cover is the just sort of lamination like thing. Title page means the page on which you mention the very subject of the report. Title fly is just nothing, it is just a way of giving shape to that report to make that a bit formal. List of contents mean, as you see, in all the cases we need sort of contents, a detail of contents. Acknowledgement means those people who were directly or indirectly involved in the preparation of that report. And in acknowledgement, obviously we don't mention each and every person. We focus on those chaps who were pivotal in that, in preparation process. The executive summary, as I've said, is slightly different from routine summary, and it is basically for the information of the top upper class. It is a mini version of the report. The whole report is there, the whole central theme of that report is there, but in this case we might skip so many points that are incidental there, that are not that important for these chaps. So in exam they do ask what's meant by executive summary and what's the difference between this and routine summary. The next thing is body. Body of the report actually means the whole report itself. We will discuss that thing in some other lecture, and we will talk about the supplemental parts, inshallah, in the next lecture. Okay, so in today's lecture we just did focus on introductory parts. Thank you very much for being so patient, so kind. Thank you very much. See you. Allah Hafiz.